Hi everyone, it's Leanne. I usually go by Lily Scraps. I usually don't do very many videos, but I've had quite a few people be really sweet and want me to do a video because they love my ornaments so much. What I'm going to do is I'll just kind of do more of a share of my ornaments and an explanation what I've done. Because there's a lot of videos out there with this ornament set, but I kind of tweak it up a couple of notches. And that stamp set is from Stampin' Up, which is discontinued. But they still sell it on eBay, and if you go to a few places like that where they sell used things, like stamps and scrapbooking items, you can find them. But it is a 2K stamp set with the stamp ornaments, and it comes with the matching dies, right, as you see here. So the dies I have out are the ones I use the most, which is the little one. This one is these two are the ones I use the most. And then it comes with some more in here that I barely touch, as you can see, because they look still brand new. Please forgive me with my filming because I've MacGyvered my phone onto a selfie stick, which is taped on to a shelf above my desk. So I'm trying my best to do this video without being too, making you too dizzy. So yeah, so these are the dies I use right here. And I'm trying to see if I'm on screen at the same time. I'm not really sure what they come priced at on eBay and all those other sites, but I know you can't buy this anymore through Stampin' Up. But for the ones that really want to know how I make mine, I will kind of give you a rundown. So for each cluster, so I'm going to go with the original that most of the Stampin' Up community does, which is the stamped version. I don't have any where both layers are stamped. I only have like where I just have the one layer stamped. So here's one where I have my clusters all stamped and cut out, and then I have my small, so this one here would be this one right here, this die, and then this one right here, where I'm pointing at, would be this die right here. And then this middle one is just a strip, and you make a rosette, and you can find the instructions on YouTube's how to make a rosette. There's many out there, and I've done some without rosettes, like this one here. I've stamped just the center one with the stamp, and the sides ones are pattern paper. And then I've got my small cluster, but inside my small cluster, instead of putting a rosette, I've just put an embellishment, which is just a wood veneer and a pearl. So you don't have to do what they do. You can just make it your own. And that's what I pretty much do, is I tweak it any way I want. And this year I've discovered I had so much scraps, like unreal. I'm a scrap hoarder because I cannot throw anything away. So this is my big bin of scraps, and I just had so much of it. I needed to use it up, so I figured instead of stamping, because it takes a little bit of extra time having to stamp and then cut them out, where here is I'm skipping one step. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, all the scraps I have. I just have oodles and oodles and oodles of, and this is all paper, Christmas paper, and some paper's not really Christmas paper in here. There's a few sheets, but you could never tell it wasn't Christmas paper. So, but most of it is okay. I think that was not a Christmas paper. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, so I figured, you know what? I could use all this paper up, get it all used up in a very, creative way. So I didn't do any stamping this year. So these ones are from last year. They were on my tree. And I made this one and a few years ago too. And my kids made a few with their class. So I think this one this one my daughter made right here. And as you can see, she didn't do the gluing. She didn't glue things very well. But, you know, she was, hey, well, when she did it, she was 13. So it's pretty darn good for 13. And she had done 2 of them, actually. And I think she did this one here. Yeah, this one here is the other one my daughter made with her other class. Because I did it with the grade 7 class and the grade 8 class. So actually, we're going back 3 years for these. And because I volunteered to go in and do a Christmas craft with her school classes. These 3 I made last year, which I'm going to show you. And which has the stamping on it. And then this one here actually uses that long die. So I did try out of the few other dies, but I wasn't, the shape of the ornament just did not appeal to me. This shape, I don't know why. Everybody's different and they have their own preferences, but it just didn't appeal to me. So that's why I don't use that one very often. And this one, I went really overboard. And I made this one this year, actually. What happened was I did stamp out the ornament pieces last year, and I ended up putting it away because I just ran out of time to finish it. And I was planning to make 2 ornaments out of this one. And when I was playing around, I was like, I wonder if I used a bigger base and used more of the pieces, what I would get. So it was an experiment is basically what it was. And that's how I ended up with the ones I have now that I was posting. So for what I did is I glued down on my base these pink ones. No, these ones here first, the black ones. And then I came in and on top, in between each one, I glued the pink ones. And then when it came to the middle part, instead of adding the miniature one here, I thought I would add some tulle instead. Whoops, there we go. I would add some tulle instead of the other ones, just the tulle only, and then went through my stash and just found stuff that I can stack up in the middle. And I always like to accessorize the back. So again, in the back, I added more tulle and more stuff I found in my stash. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But it was a little overkill. It's pretty big. As you can see from my hand, this is my hand size. I'll back down a bit. So that's my hand. So on my hand, it's pretty big. So it's pretty chunky on the Christmas tree. So I didn't want them that big. But my husband loves this one. So this one I'm keeping. And plus, I just don't know what to price this at, right? Because it's so big. And I'm not sure what my community is willing to pay for these. I'll find out next week because the craft show's next week. So what we're going to do is make our clusters. So what we have to do is you need 4 pieces of the one shape to make a cluster. So with my pattern papers, I'm not showing you part with the stamping because that's what I skipped this year. I'm just playing with my phone. Sorry if it falls, bear with me. So you need 4 pieces, and what I try to do is have the sides matching and the middle different. So you can use a scoreboard. I have one, or you can just do it with, eyeball. But I just scored in the middle, like they show you in the Stampin' Up videos to make your clusters. You just score it down the center like that. Whoop. Of course, I'm the pressure of being on video here. So, and then you fold it so that it's even all the way across. And you can do this by hand too without having to score it, but sometimes it's faster just to score it. So I just fold it and I pinch it so that the edges all match up. Am I in screen? I have to look at this and look up to see. So there we go. And then again, I'm going to do this one. Just find the middle, eyeball it, and then fold it in half. And then the 4th one we don't score. We leave that one flat. And what you do is you glue, put some glue on your middle one. And I like to use the, I take my wrapping off, but it's this here. I like to use this glue. And I buy mine from a wholesaler online. And I buy many bottles at once. And I just put a thin layer all over. Oh, I'm not even in screen. And then get that all over like that. And then you glue the one side down. And you line it up. Like that. You do the other side. Whoops, wrong bottle. That's the brand new bottle. And get this side on. Like that. And you just kind of, and what's nice about the white glue is you can fill with it before it dries. So then I flatten it out a bit. And then I take my glue again and I go down the crack and a little bit on the sides, on both sides. Like that. And it's not a lot that's coming out. It's very thin. Then I take my last piece. And I always try to, my back piece, because you see the back of it, I always try to find a piece of pattern paper that has like matching, coordinating colors, because you will see the back of it. Whereas the stamp image, you kind of have to add a second one on top, because this one is glued on top. You have to stamp out 4 is what I'm saying. So and then I just kind of push it so that it's all incorporated and you get a little cluster just like this. So now what makes a full, so let's go with this one here. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters. And you need 4 for each cluster. Whereas the ones I made this year, I went little nuts. Some of them I have one, well, we'll go like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clusters on that one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think that the consensus is I just pretty much went 8 clusters for the big one. I usually depend on the circle sizes. I picked from these. Whoops. I need a longer selfie stick. I picked from these size circles, which is 1 1/4, 1 3/4. And where's the other one? It's hiding somewhere. Oh, here it is. And 1 1/2. So that's what they are. And that goes like that. So depending on your circle size, it will depend on how big your ornament will be. Most of the ones I used, I think, were this size, was the middle one. So that would be the 1 1/4 one, I think. No. Which one is smaller? No, it's the 1 1/2. Yeah, the 1 1/2 size circle is the one I usually used. And before I would glue these down, I would ink to give them more depth so that they kind of pop. As you can see, they have a little depth to them, and that's because I inked all my clusters. Most of the time I just used a matching color of distress ink. So I would take my just my tool or a finger dauber, and I would fold it flat like this and go around the whole entire thing with some ink to ink all the edges. And I would do that with every single side, even the back. So I would fold it in the middle, then ink, then fold it again, then ink all the way around. And then I turn it to the back side and ink the back side also. So then when I do all 8 clusters, all my clusters were all inked up. Then I would take my hot glue gun and I would work on a sil pad. I have this one here. So I have this rubber like mat. And I would put my circle down, and then on the back of my cluster, I'd stick some hot glue right here, right on the edge. And when I line up my cluster, it goes on the edge like that. So the circle and the end line up. So then I would go one on the top, then I would go one on the bottom like that. Then I do one on this side, and then I do one on this side. And then once I have those 4, like a cross, I would fill in the other 4 in between with hot gluing. So then when I got to that stage and it was dry, I'd take my tool and then I'd stick a piece of tulle in. And my squares were usually about 3 by 3 square, by 3 by 3 inches, or 4, depending how much tulle you actually want. I did a lot of haircuts on them if I found them too long. The tool I used, I did get the Stampin' Up tool when they did sell it, and it's very nice, but it's very soft, very, very soft. It doesn't have hold on it. Like it's kind of, let's see how it's just very, even when you gather it, it doesn't really stay well. I still use it, and it's very pretty, and it just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's not as stiff. So I always, if I use this, I usually try to combine it with a stiffer one. And so I do have lots of leftovers, because every time it would go in the sale rack, I'd buy some. But the dollar store is a wonderful place to find tulle. So I found this white sparkly stuff at the dollar store. I found red, and I've even found like blue, this baby blue, and it's shimmery, all sorts of colors. And at Christmas time, they come out with these long rolls of tulle, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Look at the swirls on that thing. They're beautiful. And I love this one with the poinsettias. It's hard to see in the camera. And then I have a white with snowflakes. Like, isn't that gorgeous? See the snowflakes on there? And then I found some with sparkles on them. These make a mess when you're using them, but they're awesome. So I love these rolls. And they just look like this. They come wrapped up, and they just have the dollar store label on them. And I like to use those for my tulle. So you stick your tulle in between, not the center part here. You stick it in this on the sides, right here and here, but you'll have your other one beside. And you fill your whole thing with tulle, and then you stack up your little ones. So you make your, I have a bunch of extras that I had made. Just get a couple here that have backs on them. Where's all the ones with backs? Okay, so what I usually do, see, like this one doesn't have any of the little ones. And this is a combine of both middle ones, and I added some flat stamped ones just to fill it out. And this one makes me think of a peacock. And this one here is glitter paper with some pattern paper, silver, white pattern paper. And then I added just flat ones at the back in between each one. So this is a small cluster. So this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a cluster of 6. But when you add your little clusters, you can do it 2 ways. You can do it right down the center, right in the middle of your circle after you have all your base on. Or you can do it, where's the one that I've done on the sides? Let's see. I'm looking for one where I've done them on the sides, not straight down the middle. Right here. This one is not where, see how these ones are standing up? These ones are actually glued on top of the tulle in between my 2 clusters. and then I've put my ornament on top, and they're more flat. They don't kind of like stick out like this, like a claw. They're a little bit more flat. So it's just basically playing around and getting creative. This one here is more like this, standing right up, as you can see, like the side view. That I put the glue, I put a big wad of glue in the middle with the hot glue gun, and then I would stick, and I inked these all up too, they're not inked. I'd stick more glue on the end like this, and then I'd sit it in, and I would hold it for about a minute, and then I would build all the way around, and then you get this look. And I have this one here that has, like, that's done in the middle like that, and this one here. And then once you do your little cluster, then it's up to you to get creative with your, if you want more tulle, if you want ribbon, you can add it wherever you want. Here I added some ribbon, and it was like about an inch wide, and I kind of folded it all up on each other, and then I cut it with my scissors to fringe it, and it gives that cute little fringe look. And even inside, I don't know if you can see, I took a flat one, like the flat one here, the big one. I made a small flat one, and I glued it in just to give it a little bit of color on the inside, just a pop of color. You can barely see it, but it's there. And then I added my jewel in the middle, which is a button. And I think those were from Stampin' Up! Too. I'm pretty sure of it. But I don't think they have them anymore. And then these little big jewels, they're actually from the dollar store. See? They're just from the dollar store. And they came in a pack of different sizes. So it had these giant ones. It had these medium-sized ones. And it had these little baby ones. Like this. So your dollar store is perfect for embellishing. With this one here, I went tulle crazy. So here I mixed two tools together before I glued them in. So I took a brown and a blue, and I squished them in to like a little triangle. And actually, I'm going to get a piece of tulle and show you how I fold it. I think I have some in a bag. Okay, this is last minute things that I'm not thinking of. Where is my tool? All right, I'll just cut a piece. All right, scissors. So I usually make it about 3 inches like this, and I always double it up. And 90% of the time, I eyeball everything. So this is about the size I make it. And I have 2 of them. And I just, like, you know, like I don't even measure. I just eyeball it. So what I do is I take one straight, and then I take the other square and I make a diamond. And then I push them together. And then I take the center point and pinch it. And then scoop it up like that. And you hold it like this. So when you put your hot glue in between the clusters, I take a long stick. You know what works really well for me is I bought these shish kebab sticks. And I use these. You can see my ends are full. Where am I? Oh, see, I can't even find there we go. They're full of glue right there. And I will just push them down the center and hot glue. And then if it's too long, I just kind of give them a haircut. I just kind of squeeze them. And like this, I squeeze, and then I'll just cut, and then it gives it a little haircut. So yeah, so you just take your 2 pieces. Where is the one I was showing you? So you take your 2 pieces, and this one was blue and brown, and you cluster it and you glue it in. And then I made my other cluster on top. And then once that was done, I took another piece of tulle, a skinnier piece, smaller, square, and I stuffed that in there too and glued that inside. And then it gives you, like, I've got 3 different colors of tulle on here. And you can see how this one here, my pattern papers are all the same color in the front. I have 3 in the front that are the same. This one here is two pattern papers that are different on the side, but the middle is a different one. And same with the clusters on the inside. So you just get creative. And even on the back, I used cardstock and I embossed it just to give it, you know, a little bit of nice texture. So it's like a poinsettia embossing. And this little wire is driving me crazy from the from the selfie stick. And these I got all from the dollar store, these little embellishments. And I usually punch a 2.5-inch circle, and sometimes I'll do a scallop, which is the 2 3/8 scallops. Or I don't have my glasses on, so I'm having a hard time reading the numbers. So yeah, and like here's one where I have many clusters, the big ones. And I have my little ones. I don't have as many little ones, and I stuck them inside the cluster instead of more in the middle. Instead of putting them on the tool in between, like I showed you on the other one, and putting them kind of standing up. This one here, I stuck in the cluster, and then I did it every other one. And so the one that I didn't put one in, I stuck a little curlicue ribbon in. These little curlicue ribbons, I put those instead of one of these. And here I alternated my tool for color wise. So I did beige, burgundy, beige, burgundy, beige. And then I did a rosette for this one, and then some Dollarama little embellishments. And then my back looks like this. So, and most of the stuff was all scraps. So you can see I ran out of colors, and I didn't realize that after I put it together. I was like, oh, those two should have been brown, but oh well. It still looks pretty. But most of the time you don't see this part because it's against the Christmas tree or hanging on a water bottle or on a gift. So the back is not as 100% as important as the front. And to hang it, I take my crocodile and an eyelet, and I enforce it with an eyelet, and then I just put my ribbons. And most of my ribbons are dollar store. This is a Stampin' Up ribbon, and here I have two because I had it on a wine bottle, and I didn't want to, I give the option when I sell them to have them long so they can actually either use it to hang on a wine bottle or a gift. But if they decide they just want it for their tree, they can shorten it themselves and make a new knot. So they can cut it here and then have a smaller string, but I give it a little longer so the person purchasing them can have a choice of what they want to do. So I'm just going to give you a quick close-up of all of them. So this is again, every single one of them is made from my stash with scraps, except for the glitter paper one. I had to buy some glitter paper at the dollar store, and that was it. And they're all pattern paper except for the ones from last year. So there's this one, this color, there's this one. I like this one a lot with the brown, the blue, and the red. And this one's a set of 4. I just finished this, and this is really random scraps. Like none of the clusters are matching. Like barely match. And you still, you get that awesome look. So I have 2 like that. And that's the back of this one. And then I have 2 like this one. And those are the backs of those ones. And I have a gold. I still have some hot glue gun spider webs hanging. And the back. Then I have a silver. And then the back. And then this one here. And then this one has the flat ones at the back, just to fill it up more. A little different. And I have this one. I love the dark green with the blue and the red. It's just so vibrant. Looks really freaking awesome on my Christmas tree, this one. And then I have this one. This one was a fun one to do because I saw the hot pink and green combo at the dollar store sitting beside each other, and I was like, oh, I want to try one. So I found actual Christmas paper from years and years ago that I had in my stash that had that color combo in there, plus with some other colors in it. So that's the back. I forget who the name of the company is, but I think I have a few more in my stash. But I wanted to try one just to see the color combo, and it's so much fun. I just think it's just so cool. There's got to be somebody out there with this color of a tree. And then the one that I started last year and finished this year, and that's the back. And then these ones were from my kids and the years before. And this was my daughter's. And you can see she didn't really, her tool is not perfect. But I'm not touching it because it's hers. She made it and she did it all on her own. So I'm leaving it the way it is, how she designed it and how she cut it. So, and then this one. And this one I'm not crazy about the shape, but it's still nice. So that's my little sort of explanation. It's not a super major step-by-step tutorial, but it kind of just shows you what I did. I know it was long. I can talk very easily. Hope it doesn't take too long to upload to YouTube to link it to you guys. But I hope you like this up-close look at the ornaments and kind of what I did. And like I said, search on YouTube for Stampin' Up! Ornaments, and you can get the step-by-step tutorial for this one, and then you just get creative with the size of your circles and the amount of clusters you use and the amount of tool you use and the type of decorations, and that's basically it. So thank you for watching this, and thank you very much for all the compliments you have given me on my ornaments. It warms my heart. Thank you. Bye.